Myself Shiva Mishra, and today we are live on a huge platform that is called Yoga Sikshak Sangh with our regular program that is called Yog Manthan with our two international panelists and two our Indian panelists as well. We have Yogi Danius basically from Ecuador, and he had did tremendous job throughout his journey, yoga journey, and we have Master Emilia Vinci from Italy. So meanwhile, my friends, and two Indian masters as well, Shivam Tomar and Anukriti Sharma as well. So I personally welcome you all on the behalf of Yog Sikshak Sangh. Welcome you all. Okay, all right. So, guys, as we all know that Yog Manthan is a well-settled program in the era of this yoga journey of our from our childhood to till now. We are having many prestigious jobs, and we did tremendous jobs in yoga as well. Throughout this yoga journey, we find out many obstacles, many hurdles, and we found some solutions as well. Throughout this Yoga Manthan program, we will identify the nature, the adherences of the yoga, and we will identify some common questions which you are seeking for and you want to answer by the international masters and our national panelists as well. So in the journey, we will ask the question number one to Yogi Dennis. Basically, this question is, a very generic question. Each and every yoga scholars want to know that how international scenario of yoga is tremendously changed as we have huge manner of thinking, huge manner of ideology in yoga in India as well. You know, there are lots of cultural difference in international arenas. Like Southeast Asia have a different scenario, like Europe has a different scenario, like America has a different scenario. In these connotations, what you want to have, what you want to answer throughout the cultural differences in yoga, Yogi Dennis.
Well, first of all, I have to say that in my travels, my yoga travels, my personal travels, I have always been delighted to discover that yoga has been able to reach perhaps the furthest corners all around the world. I have now been living in Ecuador for almost 2 years, and the yoga community here is massive, and there's a large number of yoga studios. And given that Ecuador is a small country, there are much bigger countries like Colombia, Brazil, Peru, and yoga is absolutely thriving there. And I'm really happy to be witnessing that, because it seems like with this movement, with the popularization of yoga in every manner, we are definitely going to see an increase of spiritualism in the first place, and also I think more healthy minds.
Yes, yes, yes. So one more thing that is a very common and sometimes we feel there are little bit difference that is called spiritualism. How is spirituality make people together? How is spirituality make people understandable throughout the world adherences? Yogi Dennis, another question to you also.
Well, I must say it is perhaps a little unfortunate that yoga is often there is a misconcept about yoga that it's only physical, it's only a form of fitness. Um, People get to experience the yoga on a spiritual level a little bit later on their yoga journey, and it's just, and I think this is a good development, because I think when people get into yoga from the perspective of improving their physical bodies in terms of fitness, it's already good enough, because once they're in, they're in, and spirituality will get them. It follows
Exactly.
through whether you want it or not.
Yeah, all right. So this question too, very common, and I hope that this question should be answered by an Indian. So I want to ask to Anukriti Sharma. Well, Anukriti, when we talk about spirituality and yoga, would you really like to, discriminate it in a twice manner? Like spirituality is something kind of different thing, and yoga is something different. What or both are same? What do you want to comment on this particular connotations?
First of all, thank you so much, Shivam sir, for this very relevant question. And I would like to pick from where Yogi Dennis left. And I completely agree with Yogi Dennis when he says that, yes, it is very unfortunate because the youth of today, not just in India, but across the globe, still ends up feeling that yoga is all about the physical body. And because the word hut itself means about the body, so people end up believing that hut yoga has got everything to do with the body, and let's become more flexible and let's become more strong, build some muscle, and etc. and etc. Yes, although the physical component of yoga is always there in terms of asana as one of the eight limbs of yoga, we agree with that. But hot yoga is not just the whole picture of yoga. And I can vouch for that based on my own personal experience. How? Because when I started my journey with yoga, I was always a gym person, like I tell all of you all the time in all my in all my lectures, and to all my students. I was always against yoga. I wanted to be more physical and run and lift heavy weights. And then I entered into yoga primarily because I could practice asana through the practice of Hatha yoga. But sooner or later, spirituality catches up with you. So, what is spirituality? Spirituality has got no religious connotations, it has got nothing to do with religion. It is all about uh, digging deep inwards, diving inwards, and trying to understand the true meaning of yourself, trying to understand your true identity. Because most of the time when people are solely focused on the physical practice of yoga, they are only thinking about their body. And the biggest mistake that they make is that they start to identify their identity with their body, or they start to identify themselves with their mind or the thoughts running in the mind. And spirituality eventually starts to teach you that you are way beyond your body, way beyond your mind. You are a pure consciousness, and this consciousness is nothing but a part of the entire universal consciousness. So basically, you are connected to each and every organism on this planet. You are an energy which is connected to this universal energy. So nothing should be able to bother you or disturb you or perturb you. You're like this vast ocean. And sometimes you can have these waves on the surface of the ocean in the form of emotional turbulence or emotional disturbance. But you need to be able to rise above that and then be able to become a silent observer of those waves and learn that you are not those turbulent thoughts in your mind, but you are this vast ocean, you are this tremendous reservoir of energy which cannot be touched or disturbed by anything which happens around you or in your external environment. So, spirituality catches up in the form of dhyan when we meditate, when we sit down to finally meditate, because asana practice eventually teaches you to become more stable. When you practice asana, you have to focus on your breath, you have to control your breath, and eventually, when you control your breath, there is an inevitable mind body connection. So, the moment your breath comes under control, your mind, your thoughts start to settle down, and that's when you get ready to sit down in a meditative pose and get into the process of meditation. And that's when spirituality strikes you and you understand your true identity, that yes, I'm not the body, I'm not even the mind, I'm this energy, and nothing can bother me. And that's when the entire definition of your life changes, and suddenly life becomes so beautiful and so much more easy to deal with. So that's been my experience, and I believe Yogi Dennis has gone through his own journey. All yogis and yoginis are going through their own journeys, but eventually, all of us, sooner or later, are able to realize that spirituality is a definitive part of yoga. You cannot separate it from yoga. And even if you are the most rebellious kind of a yogi, sooner or later, you will realize that yes, you have to go through that spiritual process. And once you go through that spiritual process, it's so beautiful. You don't want to step out of it. You
Uh,
don't want to look at yoga anymore through the
exactly.
hut perspective only. It's the mind, body, soul connection. It's the complete package. Thank you
Exactly,
so much
exactly.
for the
So
question.
on this particular explanation, sir, I would like to again invite Yogi Dennis. What your comment on this particular explanation, Yogi Dennis?
Well, all I can say that I completely and utterly agree with everything Anukriti just said. Spirituality is inevitable. You know, I would say it's not something you're seeking. It's just it finds you. So once you start practicing your yoga asana, once you start getting more and more comfortable in your meditation, and then you begin to notice like a shift in perspective, and then people around you start to tell you like, that something is different about you, um, in a good way. And this is probably when you begin to realize that, okay, yes, I'm a different person now. And also, I would like to repeat Anakriti's words that spirituality has got nothing to do with religion. I think this concept needs to be made very clear. Being religious, unfortunately, again, doesn't often mean being spiritual. Whereas being spiritual often helps you with your religion, whatever faith you follow. So, one way or another, once you step on your yoga journey, at some stage, the spirituality will find you.
Yes, exactly. And this is what we want to deliver throughout our this program and this executions in the in yoga relevancy. What we want to digging throughout this explanations, we want to identify the need of yoga in yourself only, not only for society. Yoga is required for your soul as well. So, my dear friends who are looking to uplift themselves in the journey in the field of yoga, they have to find some more connotations throughout this conversation as well. So now I am moving towards Shivam Toma. Shivam Toma, when we ask, and we have Master Amelia Vinci as well, but I have information that her network is a little bit slow or technical issues she is facing. So that's why I'm not asking two questions to Amelia Vinci, Master Amelia Vinci. So now I am moving towards Shivam Toma as well. Shivam, when we talk about the spirituality in only for your body, and when we talk about spirituality on the international phenomena, there are something different we find out. Like Indians are a little bit different spiritualism. Indians are having with some kind of different spiritualism. But meanwhile, when we are sitting in the very last of the America, very last of the USA, you are finding a little bit different kind of cultural adherences, different kind of mannerism, different kind of feelings or explanations. But meanwhile, end of the day, your goal are same. So how this journey differentiate Indian from the international phenomena. Differentiations between Indian spiritualism and international spiritualism, which you are not facing, but as an Indian spiritualism you are facing right now. How you can explain that what actually Indian spiritualism is?
Um, as you have said that both these things are same. We both have same goal. But what happens in India, we are more, you can say that we are more towards our culture. So we, this, you say a kid, he is growing up with these things. He know that it happens in other forms. Maybe you can say that in puja that we do. So in these things, it is there, it is in our culture. But we, as a kid, he has not find it out yet. Through yoga, we are able to experience it within. So the concept is around us in our society in India, but to experience it, you have to go through the your journey to experience it really inside of you. So this is what in India our culture teaches us, that these things are there, that there is a god, you can say, or a higher power there in other forms, we tell our kids. And we should worship it, and we should worship it within us. And we should follow this and that, niyams and yams, which are also mentioned in 8 limbs of yoga. So every kid is, from the beginning, he knows that these things are there, and he knows that, oh yes, there is something spirituality, there is something, a higher self. But he is not able to find it out until he obviously follows his own journey to find it out. So that is what I think is different it is
Yeah,
the difference between Indian culture.
yes,
Yes.
on this
And
particular explanation, I want to connotate by Anukriti Sharma. Anukriti, please review this comment and comment your own thinking and ideologistic view. What actually this is?
Thank you so much for that forwarded question, Shivam sir. Just like Shivam also mentioned, spirituality, although it means the same thing when you look at the word from the dictionary point of view, spirituality is all about diving deep inwards and understanding your true self in terms of energy. But when it comes to India, and sadly so, what I have realized in different homes, even though yoga is being practiced in India, being an Indian myself, this has been a very honest observation of mine, and probably Yogi Dennis might also agree with me. When it comes to the Indian culture, the Indian land as such, despite practicing yoga for years and years, and despite understanding that the goal of yoga is not just physical, it's about the body, the mind, and the soul. It's about dhyan, and ultimately it's about samadhi, or the ultimate culmination of our energy with the universal energy. But we still somewhere have this tendency to mix a little bit of idol worship into spirituality. We tend to give it a form, we tend to give it a name. So, the concept of prayer, the concept of praying to a deity or a god with a certain name comes into the picture. Now, with all due respect to all this happening in the Indian culture, because everybody has their own mindset, some people who reach a higher state of spirituality, or who reach a higher state of self realization, are able to understand that the true power, which is the supreme universal power, already exists within you. And you do not need to seek it outside in the form of a deity or a statue or an image or a name. But some people who are on that beautiful journey of spirituality still need uh, an object or a name to attach to, so that they can continue on their spiritual journey. So, for example, if I take my own example, because I always like to talk from my perspective and not through somebody else's, when it comes to me and my yoga journey, I believe that that guiding spiritual energy, that guiding universal energy is inside me. Why? Because I'm already a part of it. But some people might want to attach that energy, which they already have within, to a deity which is kept in front of them. And there's nothing wrong in that, because um, it's a slightly different mean, but everybody is trying to reach the same goal. And the goal is self realization, realizing that we ourselves are that enormous reservoir of energy. So some people might not want to worship a deity or a name given to a deity, but some people might want to worship a deity because that gives them power, a power which we can call faith, because faith on this spiritual journey is very important. So I, Anukriti, can have faith in myself, believing that I already have that universal energy inside me. And somebody else might feel that their spiritual energy, their energy is being derived from a deity which is kept in front of them. So it ultimately becomes a question of faith. So as long as we have faith, all of us can continue on this spiritual journey and come to the destination of self realization. So there's nothing wrong in deity worship. But if there are people who do not believe in deity worship, then that's equally fine as well, because all of us are on the same journey and the goal is self realization. As long as the goal is the same, there's no problem. But people just need to understand that yes, there is a spiritual goal as far as yoga is concerned, and we should never forget that. So, deity or
Exactly.
no deity, no problem, as long as the goal is the same.
We
Thank you
are
for the question.
absolutely, we are absolutely agree. Now, one more thing, Indian audience want to know that whenever India, not only India, in fact, whole world is having a different kind of subject in their perspective, in their phenomena. They are having quick researches, but yoga is a single field of education where we are giving degrees, we are giving certificates, but we are not doing any, relevant researches. I want to know, only me, in fact, Indian audience want to know that which kind of researches make yoga as a subject, and if world is unable to identify the research perspective, unable to identify the researches in the manner of executions, we can say scientific researches or scientific spirituality, what we need to ask from them, what we want to do some researches, why west or east, in fact, or India itself not regulating any scientific researches in yoga. We are having only spiritual, like one can say very nominal phenomena, that yoga is only a matter of talk. You can say I have energy, one can say, and they have enough capability to say this word also. So how we can prove? You can, Dennis, when we talk about some researches, when we talk about which kind of researches yoga need to seek only. All right. So, what kind of researches you want to push, or what you want to comment on this connotations? You get it.
Well, thank you very much for this question. Um, Yoga is many things, and amongst all those things, yoga is nothing but a tool that allows you to discover yourself, to discover the true nature, to discover the light within you, to discover that you are part of the universal energy. So I think the primary starting point is common for everyone, and then the research is extremely personal. Like Anukriti mentioned before, I also like to use my personal examples, my personal experience, my personal discoveries. I was given yoga as a tool many years ago, but throughout the years that I have been teaching, I've been sticking to the traditional yoga practice in terms of asana and meditation, but also sharing a personal my own story, which is a sort of research, because there isn't a certain pattern that we all must follow. For each practitioner, it is an absolutely unique and very personal, a beautiful thing, and there is no right or wrong. Whether you believe in deities or you believe in universal energy. This discovery allows you to go from stage to stage, and every time you realize that you are reaching a new level. It's a different stage. It takes a few years to move from one stage to the next. So to summarize, I would have to say that the research is observation, self-observation, observation of the things around you, people around you, your practitioners, a stranger on a bus, your attitude toward things and how you perceive things. That is the best research you can do, as long as you put enough attention to that when you start to observe.
Exactly. So now, I'm sorry to interrupt you in between, but we have a huge business tycoon in yoga, one of the most greatest and the very finest yoga business and yogi as well, Master Eric Levine, basically from USA. So, Master Eric, we are welcoming you. If possible, please come live. So each Indian and international audience will see you.
All right.
Yes.
Namaste.
Guys, welcome, Master Eric.
Hi.
So I want to let you know that Master Eric has a huge experience in yoga business, and he is the world's greatest business tycoon in yoga business. So now this conference a little bit shifting towards the yoga business as well. We're talking about spirituality, Master Eric, earlier with Yogi Dennis and Master Emilia Vinci from Italy, and now we are going to let this world enable to know about the knowledge of yoga business. What is yoga and how we can talk about yoga business? What is yoga management? Is it a business field or not? Or such kind of questions that each and every people want to know. Like many people face that they says that yoga is only a thing of spirituality, but that world is having more than $8 billion economy throughout this particular business as well. Yoga is a spirituality, very good thing, but 8 billion. In fact, my own research in this PhD which I'm going to submit right now, so this is what all about yoga business as well, how yoga business is going up. So my question to Master Eric Levin, the master, when we talk about yoga business, is it required to call it yoga as a business or not? Very simple questions and your comment, Master Eric.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me on the show tonight. And I've been watching and listening. It's very interesting. Everybody's so genuine and so um, energetic about the topic yoga. And I mean, you can research yoga for the rest of your life and just scratch the beginning part. And as the other gentleman said, it's your own journey, your own observation. As far as the yoga business is concerned, imagine having a passion for yoga and being able to have a livelihood at the same time. It, you know, I remember Swami Veda Bharati asked us all in one of his retreats, "What do you do? What do you do? You sit an hour of meditation. Then you go and you're a butcher at the grocery store. How do you help the world?" And that was about 20 years ago, 25 years ago. And now, as we know, yoga is very, very popular as a business worldwide. Look, the bottom line is yoga is, for me, the most important thing. And if you can merge teaching people pure yoga and being able to provide for your family, that's a wonderful thing. And the karma that you receive from teaching people passionately and using the money wisely as anybody can and perpetuating again into the society, it can't it's a triple win. I just want to caution everybody, business is business. And because you're a great, you can do the most wonderful asanas, it's not going to help you in business. You have to understand all aspects as if you're opening up a shoe store, as if you're opening up a gym, as if you're opening up a clothing store. You have to have sound business principles, and you you have to actually. I wouldn't recommend starting a business until you've worked for someone who has a successful business, and start that way. But it's a beautiful thing. But be cautious. Make sure that you know what you're doing.
Yes. When we Shom Toma, when we talk about business, yoga as a business, the first thing when we came in Indian, Indian generations, Indian people are thinking about yoga as a business. They commonly, think that no, yoga is first is spirituality, then your own education, and then it, if possible, if you can earn money, that is far better. But this economy is getting huge and huge potential, and throughout worldwide we are having more power, and we are having more adhesive kind of quality in the business manner. When we talk about yoga as a business, what Indian people think? Shivam Tomar, your comment. Yoga as a business,
Sir, can
what
you repeat
Indian
it?
people comment? Yes, Shivam.
Hmm. Yoga as a business, as Sir said, that it is, Eric Sir said, as he said, that it is a very beautiful thing if you have, if you can move on your path, and in that path you can also provide for your family. So this is a great thing really, to you are doing what you love, you are doing it for yourself, and you are able to give that few part of it to someone else also, and from that you're also earning, so that you can have proper upbringing for your family. So this is a great thing to do. And if, as he said, that if we are talking about business, so we really need to understand, in business field you have to you have to understand it properly, and you have to start it only when you are able to only if you're for sure that yes, I'm able to do it, or yes, I will take the chances, I'll do that if it is required. Away from what we are, we have a all the yogis have this tendency of giving. They are giving, and only oh, okay, if he needs it, I'll give it for free. So this is what we have, right? So we have to keep our those, we have to merge things, so that we are also on the path we are moving, and we're also able to earn for our family, for ourselves, so that we can have a good living, a good education for our child. So this is what business is all about, if we include yoga.
Agree, agree. Your comment, Master Eric. What you want to comment on this explanation?
She's 100% correct. I'll tell you what we should do. I'll be available when on our next one, and let's put together a podcast on the business of yoga, how to start, how to get through, what you need, what to look for, the key elements of starting. Um, I remember we refined the business of yoga so astutely at some places in Hong Kong that we had a very, very tight system that would ensure that we would be successful. And it really, it's a formula, just like anything else. And so why don't we set up a time, an hour's podcast where we walk from A to Z, have question and answers, and really get down to it. Because the saddest thing for me is to see someone with wonderful intentions fail in business because they love to do yoga, but they have never been taught how to make money. And they do go, there's nothing wrong with making money. It's what you do with that money that counts. And yoga is the best way to make it, and to share and to be able to help others. Hey, many times we had 25% of our members absolutely free. They couldn't afford it. They showed us they had a hardship. They were able to use, and eventually we taught them to become certified teachers, and that helped them as well. But again, as the lady before me said, it's the best way to merge your passion and be able to take care of your family. As long, look, you didn't learn yoga in a day. You didn't learn it in a month. It never stops. You keep learning. Business is like that, unfortunately. It's not as
Yes.
fun, but
Yes.
it's a bit, you have to know step by step.
Yes, I would like to, connect it with a very famous economist of world, Marx. Marx was like Marx's theory of economy was such kind of theory that you have to, relate such kind of things. Like, Adam Smith. Adam Smith was the almost father of economy worldwide, and he is well known for his economical perspective. My dear friends, when we talk about yoga as an economical perspective, not only a business, as per economy is more than business. All right, when we talk about management of yoga, when we talk about financial management of yoga, when we talk about marketing management of yoga, when we talk about personal management of yoga, we have huge potential. And throughout this whole connotations, we have to identify, see, yoga can uplift yourself in a positive manner. All right, that's far better. You can uplift the society in a positive manner, but there are some social responsibilities on you as well to uplift this economy. And if this economy will uplift it, then definitely this the thinking, the ideology, and the spirituality will grab the whole world, and you can able to set what you want to set as an ideologist thinker. All right, so I am moving towards Anukriti Sharma. Anukriti Sharma, when we talk about yoga as a business, your comment, please.
Thank you so much for that question. And definitely 100% I agree with Master Eric Levine. Like he said, there is nothing wrong with making money. This thing which Sir said, it really struck with me. I completely believe in it. There is nothing wrong in making money. In fact, you need to, you should, because you have a duty and a responsibility towards your family as well. You have to provide for your family. But yes, it's how you use that money, and it's the purpose which you attach to that money that really counts. How that money can be put to good use, so that you can serve more people, so that you can make this world a better place. Because in order to make a change in this world, whether we like it or not, especially in today's times, money is needed. And if we have the tool of money, we are in a position to make a lot of positive change in the world. So it is a matter of using our sense of discretion. Some people can put the same money to bad use, and another set of people can use the same amount of money to good use to serve more people. So just like Master Eric also said, we did not learn yoga in a day. It took us years and years. It was a step by step personal journey for everyone. And the same thing applies to business. So we can't just learn business with a snap of a finger. Some people have a knack for business, others might not. So we need to pay attention to both the aspects of yoga. First aspect, which is the learning, the spirituality, which is our own personal journey, and the second step is the business of it. Because once we have the knowledge, we need to spread it. There's this very old saying which goes like, once you take a bite of an apple, you need to share that apple with the rest of the world. So pass it forward, pass it on to more and more people. The more knowledge we spread, the bigger the knowledge base becomes. But like Shivam also said earlier, some yogis, because of the spiritual angle, will have this tendency of just going on giving and giving and not making money. So that also makes me feel very sad when I see so many talented yogis out there who are teaching as many people as they can, but they are failing at business. They are not able to provide for their own family. So learning yoga is one thing, practicing spirituality and reaching a higher level of self realization is one thing. Passing it on to your students is quite another thing. But at the same time, making money from this process of teaching and making money from this process of making other people realize their higher self is as important as learning yoga in the first place, because we need to provide for our family. It is our duty to provide for the family. And yes, it is very important to make good use, good productive use of that money, so that we can go on spreading this knowledge of yoga and go on making this world a better place to live in. Thank you so much for that question.
Yes, so again, we will ask this question to Yogi Dennis. Yogi Dennis, as a yogi as well, and as a business perspective as well, I need to know that how you comment on this particular explanations given by Master Eric Levin and Anukriti and Shivam as well.
Well, first of all, I think it is in the human nature um, to to take something and then develop it into something else, to improve it, to monetize on it. And yoga happens to be one of those things that does attract a lot of practitioners, which is a great opportunity to monetize. So I do agree that there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. It is it's a it's a living. We all need to make a living, and I also believe we all have our purpose as beginner teachers or as experienced teachers. You are a kind of an artist that needs to be managed, by someone who understands how the business world works. This way, like Anakruti mentioned a minute ago, there's so many talented practitioners, so many talented teachers who have a lot to share, but they do not know how to organize it into a business. And I do agree with Eric that it does take years and years, and it's only through failing, making mistakes, and then learning from those mistakes business-wise that finally sets you on the right business path that you may call yourself a successful businessman. So I agree with everyone on every point.
Yes, so thank you. So now this program is a little bit going towards the question and answer round. So our panel member Archana Patel want to ask with our speakers. Archana, your questions, please. What you want to know with our international guest, and what you want to acquire the knowledge throughout their journey. Archana.
Yes, sir. Hello, everyone, and namaste. My question is, we all know about national value and scope of yoga. So my question is, the scope and value of yoga internationally is same or it is less than aerobics, Zumba and exercises?
Yes, I'm going to explaining this question a little bit more. Like she want to know that what is the scope of yoga in future, because yoga is tremendously shifting towards Zumba, towards something different. So each and every panel member have to comment, and we will start with Eric as well. Eric, I know that you are excited a little bit to answer this particular question. So it's over to you.
Can I? The question is.
The world is little bit shifting towards Zumba and aerobics or different form of yoga, right? So what is the coming future of this particular business?
Well, again, I can tell you a funny story. I took Swami Veda Bharati through my California fitness gym to take him up to the yoga room through all the rock and roll music, and who's holding his ears. And then when we opened the door, again, Master Kamal he was doing his power yoga with music, and Swami Veda Bharati said to me, "Eric, you single-handedly killed yoga." So I said, "Wait 1 second." The class ended, and then only 2 people left. The next class was meditation, his style of meditation. There was 100 people there, and they stayed. And I said to him, I said, "Swami, if I started with meditation, there'd be 3 people here. We started with yoga, and now we have 100 people for your meditation." So the pureness of yoga for the pure practitioners will continue as it has for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. No one has to worry about that. It's way beyond our consciousness, okay? It's forever. It's in the field of potentiality, and it'll change as the universe needs it to change. And us as humans, we can do whatever we want with it. It's not going to affect the pureness. You can call it yoga flying, yoga swimming, whatever you want. If someone benefits from it, why not? It's never going to be the yoga of the Himalayas. It's never going to be that pure, unless that's what you want to be. If that's what your life is, to teach the purest form of yoga, so be it. That's a wonderful blessing. If you want to mix your yoga with something else and get somebody started on the path, who knows? That path may be, they may want to go to a seminar in a serious yoga ashram. They may end up spending the rest of their life doing yoga. We don't have to worry about it. Yoga is forever, from pure to Zumba. It's nothing to get upset about. It's just a way of introduction. Pure is pure, and Zumba is Zumba. Nothing to worry about.
So, Archana, I hope that you get a proper explanation through Eric. Now, we are a little bit shifting towards Shivam Tomar as well. Shivam, your comment. What, in a very precise manner?
Uh, I completely agree with Eric here because once you in any form you take yoga in any form as you're coming into yoga, you're practicing yoga for physical benefits only. You will, as we were discussing before before business part, we were discussing about spirituality. So spirituality will find you, and again you started it for physical benefits only, but you will find spirituality will find you, and you will love it, and you will pass it on in any form. Maybe you will tell your friend, oh hey, I experienced this today, so he will also be interested. Oh, I also want to experience that, right? So it will continue, as he says that it is way away from our hand, it will go as it has to. So that's what I'm saying.
So, now, Anukriti Sharma, your comment, please.
Thank you so much, Archana, for that question, and I'm really glad that you brought it up. But in order to answer your question, I would like to break down my answer into two parts. First part, when we look at the global scenario of yoga and Zumba and Bokwa and things like these, just like Master Eric Levine said, there's nothing wrong at all. So if Zumba works for me, why not? As long as I choose to live a happy and a healthy life. If yoga works for me, why not? As long as I'm happy with it and as long as I'm able to maintain a healthy lifestyle. But having said that, there's one thing which bothers me these days. I look at the Western scenario, and with all due respect, I observe practices like goat yoga or bear yoga. Even chocolate yoga is coming up. Master Dennis might know. So we have something like chocolate yoga and things like chocolate meditation coming up. So nothing wrong. Now I have to draw a thin line over here. Okay, I'm not for this or for that. I'm not for or against. First of all, I'm going to draw a thin line, and on the left side of that line is the pure essence of yoga, the way it started in the eastern part of the world. So the essence of yoga, yam, niyam, pratyahar, asan, dhyan, samadhi, and all these eight limbs of yoga. So the essence, you start with asan, and then you do your breath work. Then you move on to the beautiful journey of dhyan to completely realize your true inner self. That is the pure essence of yoga that needs to be maintained at all costs according to my own spiritual journey with yoga. Now I'm going to walk across the thin line and come to the other side. So just like Master Eric said, there's nothing wrong if you mix this practice up with interesting elements of music and meaningful insightful conversations, and you can attach different perspectives of spirituality to yoga to make it more interesting and more business friendly, to get the people inside the door. Are you understanding? So we can try to mix and match different elements to present an interesting package or the product of yoga to the market, to the people who are averse to yoga. Like, I'm a cardio person and I like to go to the gym and I can't sit down and do yoga, and I'm not that kind of a person. You keep listening to all those things. So if we need to mix it up with some interesting elements to get the people in the door, and once they are in the door, then you are in a position to make some changes to their perspective in their mind. And then the process can start through hatha yoga because they are more physical people. And then eventually, just like Master Dennis also said, eventually the spiritual aspect of yoga will find you and you don't have to search for it yourself. So that beautiful process or journey of yoga can start by mixing it up with things like chocolate and bear, sometimes on an international level. But once the journey begins, then it is our duty and responsibility as yoga teachers to bring the student back to the true essence of yoga. Because once the process starts, the student will never want to leave, because the student will know how beautiful this journey is. And once the student realizes uh, their true identity, once the student is able to understand himself or herself on a higher spiritual level, once the student is able to reach a level or a higher level of self realization, then that student will never want to leave the practice of yoga. And then you don't need elements of chocolate and bear and goats and different animals. So if we need to get the people in the door, then by all means mix it up with interesting elements, because we need to get more and more people on this beautiful journey. Thanks for that question, Archana. I'm glad you brought it up.
Yes, so now, Master Darius, what you want to comment?
Okay, well, first I would like to say it depends how you look at it. If you look at it from the commercial side of things, from the business side of things, then I think there is nothing wrong with novelty, because it is also part of human nature to seek out novelty. And in the last 50 years, yoga has seen so many transformations due to novelty. So yeah, because getting people onto the mat, or even to simply meditate in Padmasana, or making people do endless sun salutations, it does not work for everyone. So I think, yes, we should adapt. We should adapt in order to, it's a little bit tricky. Perhaps it's also, there is a bit of slyness to it. It's like we are tricking people into this discipline that eventually brings about spirituality. But I say, why not? And also, there is another part to it. Let's not forget that yoga is breath and movement. I mean, physical asana practice. It is breath and movement. And when you do Zumba and you're aware of synchronizing breath and movement, enjoy. Even if you go to the gym and you lift weights and you synchronize breath and movements, and you realize that prana that comes with your breath allows you to lift heavier, to push more, why not? If you're a swimmer, definitely if you're a swimmer, you need to synchronize breath and movement. It gives you the necessary energy to move faster. Then absolutely, yes. I say as long as there is movement, there is awareness, there is the synchronization of breath and movement, then yoga isn't just on the mat for those 90 minutes or 2 hours, however long your practice is. It's how you sit, it's how you move, it's all the waking time that you spend, you do yoga in one way or another. So yes, I support it, but I must say, I would like to add something else. I actually do believe that mixing yoga with beer or chocolate or other, it's like giving into senses and feeding your senses, and through the senses feeding your ego, which goes against the principles of yoga. So I do not support that kind.
Exactly. So now this time came to announce a very generic announcement to not only Indian people, in fact for New Delhi and Delhi NCR's peoples. I want to tell that if you want to join a huge conference, I will going to invite Eric Levin and Master Dennis as well. They both will join us just after Corona in our destination, New Delhi, and we will have a huge live conference with Master Eric as well. And I hope Master Eric will agree and he will don't disappoint us that he cannot come. I hope, and I know that Master Eric can come. I know very well because he is one of my greatest friend as well. So, my dear friends, if you want to join yoga as a business, we can do 7 days conference. And after 7 days conference, or 4 days or 5 days, how many days the masters will be there? As per their availability, we will do a conference just after COVID. So be prepared for the same as well, and I hope that you can ask many huge questions, and you can adhere the huge knowledge, because Columbia Fitness is the one of the greatest fitness, as I visited many of the countries, and I found that Columbia and Elite, there are two names. So you can, many Indian peoples, many Indian masters as well, they are doing job under these masters. So my friends, if you want to ask international phenomena, international marketing, business module, and yoga as a spirituality, yoga as a new qualities, so both masters will be with you. So today our time is almost completed, and we have questions, many questions, but I'm sure that they will join us live, and on that particular platform we will ask. So Yog Shikshak Sangh, that is called Yoga Teachers Association in India, will going to provide you live international masters. So be prepared for the same, and I hope that you enjoy this particular Yoga Manthan Karikram. Manthan, that means something like you are going to discussing in a very manner, in like positive manner, in negative manner, not only negative, in fact you can call it as a huge responsibility came on the shoulders of each and every yoga teachers when you are going to elaborate the particular things. So my dear friends, it's our pleasure to have you all as our speaker as well as our listener as well. And I am particularly thanking to Master Dennis and Master Eric Levin, because I want to tell you that Master Eric was busy today, and I just informed him that Master Emilia Vinci cannot connect with us, and Master Eric says that okay, don't worry, I am there for you, I can join you within a while, and he just joined us. So I'm really thankful, Master Eric, that you always save my safeguards as well for me, and Indian audience will definitely love you, and I'm sure that you enjoyed this session. And with these words, I'm thanking to Anukriti Sharma and Shivam Tomar as well, and our hidden conferences, that is called Vandana Gupta and Prashant sir, and Master Emilia Vinci as well. So I'm thanking you all to join us today, and very thank to Master Dennis and Master Eric that they provided their precious time for more than 1 hour to us as well. So thank you for today, and we'll meet again, I hope so, in a positive manner. Thank you so much for
Thank
joining.
you.
Thank you so much, Master Dennis, and thank you so much, Master Eric. It has been a very wonderful and an insightful session with both of you. I can't express my gratitude enough.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you again. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you